Uh,
Good morning, Chitiji.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. आप आया है इसमें. So nice.
अरे,
अभी
thank you
चालू
for calling
करेंगे.
me, sir.
हाँ? Good morning, Jailashmi
Fine.
and Nikhil.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. We will start now. We are streaming it live on YouTube and Facebook. That is going on. Once it starts, we will start our program. Okay. दिख रहे रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन किया क्या उधर बैठ गुड मॉर्निंग सिद्धार्थ
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So we will start. There is some technical glitch in live broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. We'll record it and we will post it on the YouTube and Facebook. We will start it. So, good morning to you all. I welcome you all. I welcome our speakers for today on this National Youth Day. Jayalakshmi Sarikonda and Mr. Nikhil Wadnam, IRS, and Mr. Siddharth Rai, and also Mr. Kshitij Gupta, and also my colleagues Dr. Shashi Venkat and Rajgure and Vasnik, all others. Thank you very much for joining us. I welcome you all for today's National Youth Day celebrations of IGNOU Regional Center, Nagpur. In this, we will go for the talks by our young colleagues, friends, who are proved themselves in their own fields. So let me give you a brief about National Youth Day and how IGNOU is contributing. Then we will start listening to our speakers in the order, whatever I mentioned. So you all know that National Youth Day was celebrated to commemorate the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda born on 12th January 1863. And we all know he is an inspiration even after around 158 years of his birth. Still, he is a perennial source of inspiration for all of us, not only in India, across the world. He spread the Indian philosophy across the world, and many people quote Swami Vivekananda in their speeches. One thing I quote even in my every induction meeting, that Swami Vivekananda's quotation, "Arise, awake, and rest not till the goal is reached." I apply it to our students that they decided to study further and let it continue till they reach their goal. So Swami Vivekananda, he had full faith in Indian youth, and he believed that they can transform the fate of the country through their hard work, dedication, and spiritual power. And he encouraged a confident personality for the youth so that they can face the challenges confidently and move forward. We have 4 live examples of people, young friends, who are confident in facing their career and achieving the goals. And incidentally, it is quite coincidence that the National Youth Day was celebrated in 1985, and IGNOU was also established in the same year of 1985. So it may be a quite coincidence. And here I want to tell you about the journey of IGNOU. During initial years, IGNOU was thought for elderly people as a second chance to educate themselves. But in the 21st century, as the youth are empowered and they are into multiple lateral thinking, in 21st century, the perception of people changed, and the youngsters are also looking at IGNOU. For many, it has become first choice, like Jayalakshmi, who is a full-time undergoing training for her international sports events. She chose IGNOU as her first choice for her studies. And I share 1 or 2 examples of our youngsters opting IGNOU as first choice. And at present, there are students who are taking IGNOU courses as a parallel opportunity to upgrade their employable skills. Like undergraduate students, of Pandrakauda in Yavatmal district. They join our certificate in functional English course in their first year or second year of degree so that they can update their English skills for their employability. And here I will give you two examples of our young students who are deprived of their regular education, but still they opted IGNOU. One is young people of Kasari village in Kurkeda district of Gadchiroli. Because way back 3-4 years back, when we were organizing Gyan Ganga awareness meetings at the village level panchayats with the help of NGOs, those youngsters phoned to our NGO person that they cannot attend the meeting because they do not have conveyance. So whether we can visit their village. So we visited, my team, along with Mrs. Gauri Wike of Kurkeda and my colleagues Rajgure and Rajesh Vasnik. We went to that village. 5 youngsters who passed 12th from the ashram school, they gone back to their village and they retorted back to their agriculture practice. They don't want to leave their village, but they thought that IGNOU is a boon for them so that they can stay in their village, continue their agriculture and also study. There is no place to sit also. वही लोग अपने घर पे आंगन में एक पलंग डाला है, वही बैठ के my colleagues they filled the admission forms and they are ready with their 12th certificate photos and other things, and we gave admission there itself and we provided some study material also to them. The advantage is IGNOU is providing free education to SC/ST students. So in that way, these are the youth who are willing to study, but because of their physical conditions, geographical isolation, and family conditions, they are not able to study in a regular college. They opted IGNOU and they took admission. I am happy that they are continuing. And another example is jail student. In his young age, he committed a crime out of spurt of anger and he faced it by staying in jail. But he repented and after that he did graduation through IGNOU and post-graduation also through IGNOU. I am happy that now today after his release from the prison, he has become a teacher. So why I want to mention is, IGNOU is meeting the aspirations of the youngsters in different ways. And these are few examples. And now we will listen to our speakers. Let me first invite Jayalakshmi Sarikonda, who is an Asian champion and world bronze medalist in archery. And she received several awards like District Best Sports Person, Vidarbha Krida Ratna, and Promising Player, and Shiva Vachaspati Krida Award, Woman of the Year 2013, etc. etc. At present, she is posted as sports officer at Pune, and she is a well-known archer. And under her guidance, future archers of Maharashtra will be trained. Very happy, and she is a proud student of IGNOU also. She did become, and then one PG she completed, second PG she is studying, and we are proud to have you here, Jayalakshmi. Please share your ideas on Indian youth and sports.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, everyone. Very happy Youth Day to all the youngsters present here today. First of all, I'd like to thank IGNOU for all the support they have extended throughout this years, and Shiv Swarup sir for being the best mentor I could ever ask for. So this Youth Day, I'd like to say is, I believe life has given us a huge and noble gift, that is youth. Youth is a lifetime experience that shapes an individual's career, and everything that he wants to do in life begins from the youth phase. As a sports person, today I'd like to tell you how youth and sports are related and why youth sports is important. Sports has provided me I have gained patience, determination, confidence, perseverance, character development. It helped me strengthen my bones and muscles. I used to be very thin back when I was too young. And it has given me a social circle and how to work within a team and positive role models to look up to. As a youth, sports has taught me goal setting and much more, and commitment as well. most of my day, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I freshen up. I do my yoga. I go for my exercises regularly ever since I was 9 years old. And this is continuing even today. So every day I get up with a goal. I do my stuff. I train for 3-4 hours of exercise, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. Then I have archery session for about 6 to 7 hours of my whole day. Then 8 to 9 hours of sleep, a balanced diet, and everything. I started this right from my young age, like 8 or 9 years old, and even till today. I'm 27 now, and even till today, I'm continuing to do this. So all this I've got it through sports. And I'd like to say it has also taught me responsibility. Back in 2009, when I was hardly 12, 13 years old, I was in this final match with Mexico at the World Championships. We were playing for the bronze medal match, and there were only 7 seconds left to shoot the last arrow. I was hardly 12 or 13, where most of the youngsters were not even aware of what to do in their life. I was standing, I just had 7 seconds and to step onto the shooting line, put the arrow on the bow, lift the bow, pull, aim, and shoot, all in 7 seconds. And I just did it, and I hit the bullseye, and we won the bronze medal. So that's when I realized this is responsibility. The entire India was watching me, and everybody was clapping. And then I realized, okay, I saved, I saved my country, and finally we got the medal. When I came back, people were looking for autographs and photographs. That's when I realized, okay, now this is motivation, all at a very young age, even when I knew what social status even meant. So all this sports has given me. And I would like to urge everyone today to take up sports, if not as a career, at least as a basic activity for every 30-40 minutes every day. It can be as simple as walking, cycling, dancing, badminton, or anything that you enjoy, as simple as meditation or yoga. And have a balanced diet, and all, it'll add up years to your life. It'll help you stay disciplined, that every day when you get up, अरे आज walking करने जाना है, today I haven't gone for walking. So you'll have that in your, a sense of discipline will develop within you. So let's pledge to keep India fit, stay healthy, stay strong, and stay safe. So I wish, once again, I wish everyone a happy Youth Day. And thank you, IGNOU, and thank you, Shiv Swarup sir, for having me here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jayalakshmi, for sharing very valuable. And we are very proud that you made India proud in the Mexico World Championships at the age of 12. And
Thank you.
We are very proud that you made all of us, and today you are part of us. And I know that today you have a Government of India Minister of Sports program also, and again Minister of Sports, Government of Maharashtra programs.
Yes.
We wish you all bright career in your future, and you reach new heights, and also make more people into your life by training them. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, now I invite Mr. Nikhil Vadnam, who is IRS in Customs and Indirect Taxes. He is a Bachelor of Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineer, and he joined the Civil Services in 2016. And at present, he is Deputy Director, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Nagpur. And he, for any Indian young graduate, civil services is the dream career. If you ask anyone, irrespective of whether they are studying in an urban city or a middle class town or a rural area, everyone says they have a desire to go for civils. So, about this dream career for the lakhs and lakhs of Indian youth, we invited Mr. Nikhil Vadnam, and we are happy to share that Nikhil is also IGNOU student. He is doing his MA Economics, and so Nikhil will speak about the Indian youth and civil services. If I am right, he is also from very rural interior background. Even then, with his commitment and commitment to his chosen goal, he cleared the civil services, and now he he is in Indian Revenue Service. Nikhil, please.
So good morning, sir. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. And I wish a very happy National Youth Day to all the people there. So today I would like to talk about Indian civil services and the role of youth in it. First of all, I'll deal with the civil service as career option, and then I'll go to the role of youth in Indian civil services. So civil services, as you all know, civil servants basically do two type of things. One is policy implementation, and the other is policy framing and guide and suggestions to policy framing. So, and most of the civil servants are doing that policy implementation stage. They'll participate more in policy implementation because the policies are framed by our government, who are elected by the people. So, but in there also, the Indian civil servants give their suggestions, valuable suggestions to the masters, political masters, to frame the policies for the country. So, why youth has to participate in this Indian civil services is because to take the country forward, only the youth can be crucial in this setup. Because as we go, we start to limit ourselves to many extent. Like, we don't think out of the box. But when we are at very young age, we think differently. We start questioning everything, and we come with that vigor to serve the country, to work for the nation. So and we have many fresh ideas in our mind. So that in that stage. At that stage, Indian government and in basically the country needs a bright mindset at a very young age to serve the country. That is why youth should participate in Indian civil service exam. And I'm sure most of the people, as sir pointed out, most of the people, most of the students pursue this civil services as their dream job. So why civil service as a career option? So let me take few minutes to talk about that. So civil service gives you very wide opportunities to work in various departments. Like, I can share my own experience as civil servant till now. Like, I'm working for 4.5 years now. But I have worked in 3 different setups till now. So initially, when I was posted here in the very first posting, I was posted to GST department, where we used to administer the GST. The GST was very new at that time. It was in 2000. That time only it was launched, and many apprehensions was there to the business people and to the government as well. And so we had faced many challenges also, but now it has stabilized. Now GST is a reality, and everybody knows what GST is. And all those little hiccups we had in the beginning, now they are being dealt in more. They are already dealt, and now we are facing new challenges. So and then after that, I was posted to customs formation, where we used to monitor import and exports of the country. So now I am presently posted in the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, DRI. So now it is again completely different setup. I think most of you might be aware about DRI seizure of heroin worth of 3,000 kgs in Mundra port, like sometime back just now. So that is what we do generally. We catch criminals of who are doing these frauds in import export, and sometimes such drugs or some arms or things kind of like that, which are dangerous to the society, also come, and our duty is to catch them. So this is just my personal experience. Like me, there are like many civil servants who do their own work in a different setups. So that way you will get an opportunity to work in different environment every day, and every day you will face new challenge. That so I think we all need that push, and we all need that reason to question ourselves and reason to learn new things. These are all the things which we can get in our Indian civil service. So apart from that, I think many of you might be already knowing the stability, the kind of exposure this service gives to as a career. I think you already might be knowing it, and you get exposure to various departments and various fields. And many a times it happens that what we study in our college will not be our career as our career for for our whole career. But sometimes it also helps, like what we have studied in college might be helpful. But above all, civil servants need to have that human attitude towards the society, and that zeal to work for the society. Otherwise, this career will not suit for anyone. So that as a civil service as career. But for getting into the civil service, as you already knowing that the civil service examination is being conducted by UPSC every year. So I do not go into the preparation and what to prepare at this stage, because already you might be knowing, and much information is already available on internet. So we can easily say, because I can tell my own personal experience again here, that I did not go to any coaching center, and I studied on my own from through internet only most of the times. And I just got the list of the books, and then I studied on my own, and then I cleared. So this is again one myth everybody will be having, that only coaching institutes can guide us to clear the civil services. But that is not the truth. Civil services is like different country, completely different set of exams, where you will be tested for like many different things. And it is not like only coaching centers will guide you in that. But they might give you some input to in the beginning, but they are not the sacrosanct. They are not the mandatory thing to go through to get into the civil service. This is one more thing. And then many people might be having apprehensions, like only IIT, IIM graduates or some elite English studied students can only clear this exam. But that is also not medium student till my 10th class, and then I got into English medium only in my 11th standard. So I never had any problem of my Telugu medium background, or my rural setup, or any, for that matter, anything. It all depends upon us how dedicated and committed we are to clear this exam. So I would not like to talk about this preparation strategy more, because you already might be knowing, and much information is already available on the internet. So that is one thing. And now I would like to come why youth should come into the civil service. Now, like today, the average age of recruiting civil servants is 27, and so many people are coming at very young age to the civil service, and you are being entrusted with huge responsibilities as civil servant once you enter at that very young age. So that is why that is where actually we feel more committed to the society, because we are given a huge responsibility at a very young age, and we'll have that eagerness to learn new things and zeal to work for the society. So that these things we have only at our very young age. Only youth can do this. So earlier the political bosses also used to depend upon civil servants, but nowadays it is not the case. Nowadays the political bosses are much more intelligent, much more knowledgeable than civil servants at many times. So this actually requires us Indian civil servants and youth to be more knowledgeable, to question everything in this setup, to even to take our country forward. So youth should start thinking Indian civil service as a career option, but of late, many people are choosing some hi-fi jobs and engineering. They're going. Most of the people are going towards engineering and medicine, and they're choosing that. But there's nothing wrong in that also. But it is not like everybody should go only in that way. Because this country needs better minds, and this country needs better citizens as Indian civil servants to drive this country. So I hope all of you take this take civil service as a career option, and you consider this as an option while deciding your future. I wish all the very best to all of you, and I think that I hope that all of you take this consider this as a career, and take this country forward. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best again, once again. Thank you, Shoswarup sir, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikhil, for a very inspiring speech about your present job and also advice for the future aspirants. And you touched your many myths also you cleared. Like many people think civil services needs a long-term coaching, maybe Delhi-based institutions, and also mother tongue English is very must. But as you said, you studied up to Telugu medium in up to 10th. Even I also share the same background like that. I also studied in Telugu only up to 10th. Then only we shifted to. So that is what we feel. Language is not a barrier. You should have your originality and your zeal. That is what Swami Vivekananda has said. Arise, awake, and rest not till the goal is reached. Have that zeal, and man with a dedication and commitment, they will definitely achieve. And you are an example for that, Nikhil. Thank you very much for joining us and giving a very valuable talk.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now I invite Mr. Siddharth Rai, one of our very active student, and let me introduce. He is the National Youth Award winner and the only one from Maharashtra for that 2018 or so year, and he received it from the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Government of India. And Siddharth Rai is a 22-year-old author and community enabler from India, and he is an alumnus of Whistling Woods International Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and is pursuing his second bachelor's in economics honors from IGNOU. So, and he is also an IGNOU student, and he is currently a research associate with Member of Parliament and a blogger with the Times of India. And Siddharth has worked with various education institutes, social organizations, government organizations to promote holistic education and activity-based learning. And I am very happy that Siddharth keeps on coming to us and asks us, sir, where we can work together, where we can spread the message, and let me associate with you in spreading the activity. So we are very happy with you, Siddharth. Now Siddharth will speak Indian Youth and Society. Siddharth Rai, please.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning to one and all present and joining us in the morning. So, firstly, I'd like to wish you all a very happy Youth Day. Actually, more than the Youth Day, it's Swami Vivekananda's birthday. And when we all read about him, we all get inspired in our own ways. I remember, I'll just go back in the instant, like Kshitij sir might relate to it, like a few months back when I met Kshitij sir. So Kshitij sir and I were searching his books, about his books, and you cannot know about Swami Vivekananda in months or in years. It is a lifelong process. You will keep on learning from what he has learned. You will try to introspect it in your own way, and you will try to find your own meanings about that. So it is lifelong. But the more you read about him, you understand his visions, you understand his goals, and you understand his ideas. And you understand how that man in that age was so modern, and he pointed out to the problems and he pointed out to the solutions that we are facing now. So I completely believe that whatever has happened in the past, in the history, if we all try to gain lessons, if we all try to learn from all these things, definitely we can prevent many things. So I'm grateful to Kshitij sir for helping me to dwell into the knowledge of Swami Vivekananda's work and his life. And I'm very thankful to Shiva Swaroop sir for giving me an opportunity to speak on this prestigious occasion on the National Youth Day. So I've been asked to speak on Indian youth and society. So basically, the term youth, what I find YOUTH, the first three letter begins, it spells is YOU. So that is you. So when we are talking about society at large, so what is society? Everyone will have a different opinion on what a society actually is. So when we talk about society, according to the little experience that I have gained in past 3 years while working on field, by working with various institutions, is that we should focus on four things that really empowers oneself. And if we are empowered as an individuals, we can create an impact in the society. So rather, I do not want to discourage or I do not want to criticize any trend, but everybody today wants to do something for the nation at large, wants to do something for the world at large. We all want to do something like at a very major scale. What we try to do is, I'm seeing a common trend is we just are limited to being keyboard warriors. We just type, and type. So that is the first stage of revolution, typing and sharing out your opinion. But that is not the thing that we need right now. Every major level change, every macro level change begins with the smallest of action. There's a famous Hindi kahavat is बूंद बूंद से ही घट भरता है, बूंद बूंद से ही सागर भरता है. So rather than focusing on the entire ocean, I guess we should focus on that one drop of our effort or one drop of our dedication and one drop of our awareness. So today I'm here to share my feelings on how we can empower that one drop so that when all the drop comes together, or we can create a new genesis, or we can form a society or the utopian society that we all want. First thing that I learned about is how we can empower oneself is by knowledge. So in today's generation, we see कि like knowledge is the most underrated things. बुक्स पढ़ना, लोगों के साथ बात करना, अलग अलग चीजों को लेके डिबेट करना, कोई चीजों को क्वेश्चन करना, हम सेटिस्फाई हो जाते हैं हमें जो दिखता है, हम मान लेते हैं जो हमें लोग बताते हैं, हम पढ़ लेते हैं जो हम पढ़ते हैं. We are not able to question what we are reading, what we are watching, what do we actually want to do, because we do not go in that situation में. सोशल मीडिया हेडलाइंस प्रमोट करता है कि आज ऐसा ऐसा हो गया है, कल ऐसा हो गया है, इंडिया जीडीपी फोरकास्ट, इंडिया जीडीपी is forecasted to this percent, IMF has cut this. We know what is happening, but we do not know what is happening beyond the headlines. For what financial year it is happening, how it is happening, what has caused it to happen, how will it improve? We do not know all those details. I'm not joking about the majority, but I feel I as an individual had neglected knowledge in my times. मुझे स्कूल टाइम्स में लगता था कि यार हिस्ट्री मुझे कैसे काम में आने वाला है, सोसाइटी के बारे में पढ़ के हाउ विल आई हेल्प, अलजेब्रा को सीख के हाउ विल आई बी एनीथिंग इन माय लाइफ. आई यूज्ड टू नेग्लेक्ट नॉलेज, बट नाउ आई नो हाउ रॉन्ग आई वाज. नाउ आई नो कि जो हमारे टुडे वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन, द एजुकेशन व्हिच इज बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड बाय हार्वर्ड, ऑक्सफोर्ड, everybody is providing a holistic education, but we as students are very specialized from a very young age. Now there is nothing wrong in that, but we are cutting shots our things. We are cutting shots on our option. If we go back in our past, national education policy, जो इस बार release हुआ था, I was going through the draft of it. नालंदा तक्षशिला के बारे में we have mentioned. We talk about Harvard, we talk about MITs, we talk about all Ivy League colleges. We see the course structure. But हम हमारे ही पास पर चले जाते हैं. If we talk about Nalanda, if we talk about Takshashila, we know how people have been taught about art of 64 kalas. How every kala was important to them. How as a student you have to have the basic knowledge of everything that is being taught. But today we neglect all those things. Maybe because we are unable to correlate, maybe because we are unable to find the motivation to study it, but we neglect many things. I as a student have neglected maths throughout my life because I had fear of maths. मुझे लगता था कि maths पढ़ के I won't do anything. But today, to remove that fear, I want to know the basic math. I'm studying economics from IGNOU, so that I know basic things about a basic topic which I will never study if I'm all by myself, and to remove that fear of maths. So knowledge is one factor which every youth or everybody should not underestimate it, but it is one of the most important, or one of the most important of 4 pillars to empower yourself. Second would be collaboration. In today's generation, we are like, it is good to be competitive. Sports makes us competitive, and it is very good to be competitive. But in today's era, I believe there is a toxic competition which is all around. In academics, whenever will people hear me, students know this, we say कि शर्मा जी को बेटे को इतना मिला, तुमको कितना मिला, उसको गोल्ड मिला, तुमको ब्रोंज मिला, अरे वो क्लास में फर्स्ट आया, तुम सेकंड आए, अरे वो ज्यादा कमा रहा है, तुम कम कमा रहे हो. There is a comparison which we do in everything. So that comparison is always necessary for the balance of the society. But when that comparison exceeds that level of friendliness or sportiness, it becomes toxic. And today, because of this comparative nature, because of how social media is promoting comparison, हम लोग सब Instagram पे, हम लोग सब Facebook पे है. When we see Facebook, when we see Instagram, we see everybody post happy picture. We compare our lives to them. कि यार, maybe I'm only the sad one over here. Everyone is having a very happening or a very happy life. When this comparison starts to creep in us, we start to underestimate ourselves, and we believe that we are not good enough as an individual or as a son or as a citizen or anything. We underestimate ourselves. And when this competition gets to such extent, it leads to many problems which we are facing right now in terms of mental illness, mental awareness, anything. So I would suggest that the competition is always required, but we should focus on collaboration. And today, by meaning of collaboration, is this webinar is a collaboration. Is collaboration of 4 persons, 4 individuals coming together, sharing the thoughts. अगर मैं ये सोचूंगा कि मेरा स्पीच इससे बेटर होना चाहिए, मैं इससे ज्यादा बोलूंगा, फिर तो इसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं रहेगा. फिर तो there is no sense in talking. We should have attitude of learning, attitude of helping each other, and attitude to learn how to work in this thing. Nikhil sir spoke पहले, मुझसे पहले. So he is a civil servant now. If he is not empowered to work in teams, maybe he's not able to do any projects together. All the crutches which we have, all the things that we have, we should keep it aside, and we should learn how to work in teams, work with people, help people, and form a community at large. And when an individual is empowered with knowledge, and when an individual has an attitude to collaborate with each other, 50% of the problems will solve, because you care for your community and you know what is better for our community. So the right thing is sorted, and we together while feeling like India is a diverse state, India is a community. When that is intact, that is done. So 50% of our major problems can be solved if we have empowered knowledge, the right knowledge, and we work in community. Third very important thing which I believe is we are missing is humanism, is individualism, is the idea of values, idea of morals, and ideas of like morality. Anil Swarup sir, he talks about ethical dilemmas of civil servant, in which he goes into depth about how moral compass, how values, morality is very important. Now, I, as an individual, believe that it is your soul. I can be anything in my life. Like people ask me what I'm doing after 10 years, maybe that answer is different. So what you want to do will change, but who you are as an individual, that is being formed by your value compass, your morality, and your individualism. So today, I will give you a very basic example of it as you today. Like Sitich, I know him from like 2 to 3 years ago. So he's a graduate from IIT Bombay. But when we have conversations about various topics, we never let that come in, because his values, his compass is very intact, and what he wants to do, who is this person will remain constant. Now anything apart from that will not come in his way. I interact with Siva Swarup sir. Now he is a regional director. Why he wants to interact with a student like me? Like there are thousands of students who wants to come, but he gives value. He picks every call. He attends every call. He meets every student, and he makes sure that the student is not dissatisfied or he does not go unhappy. As a regional director, he can have the power. He is limited with his bound, but he goes beyond them to help these things. These are basic values. These are basic values that we all should inculcate. And whatever happens, we should not let this compass broke, because whatever we have, it's because of our value and it's because of the choices that we have made. And last point which I would like to say is about exploration. I believe that we all should explore. Like, I think that we are limited to, like many people are choosing engineering, medical, like there is a way beyond that. So being a civil servant, he can still explore many parts within. Kshitij sir being working with something, he can explore many other things. Shiva Swarup sir working with IGNOU, he still explores with NGOs, what else we can do. I being a student still explore what I can do. So when we have empowered ourselves with knowledge, when we are in a community, when we know our value compass, exploration becomes a very easy thing to do. More we explore, the better things we get to know, and better things we get to know, our bound increases, the scope of the work increases. So I believe as a student, like everybody should focus on these four things that I have learned, like in my little life, like little experience that I have, that I have learned that, and I'm very sure if we inculcate these four things, there's a long, long way we can go ahead. And until unless we empower ourselves, we really cannot empower the society, or we really cannot empower the nation. So the focus should be on empowering oneself, and then you can empower the nation. So that is all I wanted to share. I would like to once again thank Shiva Swarup sir and everybody who was listening patiently. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. Very lively talk. I know that you are a TED talker. And I forgot to mention, Siddharth Roy is a TED talker and keeps on visiting and giving talks. And you mentioned it very rightly that we have become a keyboard warriors. Many times we think only in literary world only, not in the physical world. And you touched very valuable points like we are missing the humanism and morality and all these values. Very rightly you said. And thank you very much, Siddharth, for a very lively talk.
Thank you, sir.
Now I invite our Kshitij Gupta ji, and he is a orator and he travels widely in addressing the young people into the tribal areas of Melghat and Gadchiroli also. And basically he is graduated as chemical engineer from IIT Bombay, and then full-time into the social activities as Pracharak of RSS since 2011. And at present he is Pracharak of Nagpur city and Sahapramukh of College Students Karya of Vidarbha region. So we please, Kshitij Gupta ji, please share your ideas on Indian youth and nation building. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Shiv Swarup sir, and also Siddharth for the kind words. I think that Swami Vivekananda and nation building, both these words are synonymous with each other. Because if we read Vivekananda, we will get to know so much about our own country. Rabindranath Tagore used to say that if you want to know about Bharat Mata, read Vivekananda. Even Mahatma Gandhi ji, when he visited the Belur Math in 1921, he said that after going through the works after reading Swami Vivekananda, my love for my country has grown 1,000 times. So these were the power behind the words of Swami Vivekananda. So as sir mentioned, why are we celebrating his birthday even after 150 years of his birth? Because the work of the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda are relevant even today. If we look at the situation, what was at that time, India was a slave nation during the times of Swami Vivekananda. And there were many social reformers at that time also who were trying their bit to uplift the Indian society. But what Vivekananda did, what was his contribution? He essentially laid the foundation of the Indian freedom movement. Why do I say so? Because the entire freedom movement at that time, they had a colonial mindset. The British were not only ruling us politically, but also our Indians at that time had a slavish mindset. And so we wanted at that time to build an India on British theme. But when Swami Vivekananda spoke about India, spoke about Hinduism on the foreign soil, he delivered the famous speech at Chicago. The 2-3 minute speech shook the entire world. What did essentially Swami Vivekananda say? Swami Vivekananda said that India did not look outside to learn because we have given so much to the world. He said that the Indian attitude towards other religions was not of tolerance, but was of universal acceptance. universal brotherhood. That had been the theme of Indian religious persons, Indian people throughout the entire history. So essentially, India had a lot more to offer to the world. And if we want to build a good world, a world with, we want to develop world peace, India has to do its essential role. We have to develop India. We have to make India a superpower, a Vishwa Guru Bharat, and only then we will be able to do the welfare of the world. So, Swami Vivekananda in the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose used to say, Swami Vivekananda is the spiritual father of the Indian nationalist movement. The ideas of Swami Vivekananda are relevant even today now. If we go through the works of Swami Vivekananda, we understood that he did not only talk about renunciation or spirituality. He at the same time talked about progress, education, the need of education, the need of women emancipation. The motto of Ramakrishna Math, which he founded, is Atmanam Mokshartham Jagat Hitai. It is a very interesting story that when Swami Ji was in India, a person from Bihar came to visit him, came to meet him. At that time, Bihar state was reeling under floods. So the person was questioning Swami Vivekananda, asking Swami Vivekananda about Adhyatma, about spirituality. But again and again, Swami Vivekananda was asking him about the relief works that were going on in Bihar. Swami Ji was asking him what was the situation of the people in Bihar. The person again tried to question Swamiji about spirituality. So after around 10-15 minutes, the man got frustrated and asked, every time I am asking you about Adhyatma, about God, but you are again bringing the topic to some worldly affairs like flood situation in Bihar. So Swamiji said that is the problem with us. If we want to talk about spirituality, but if we do not care for others, we do not feel for others, then then it is no use talking about spirituality. But that was Swami Vivekananda in a sense. He used to feel for the people of the country, and when he came back from US to India, he delivered a series of lectures from Colombo in Sri Lanka to Almora. The sense of lectures, this nationwide tour was that the youth of the country will have to address the problems of this country. He said that the rest will have to suffer so that the best can prosper. So his faith was on youth. He addressed the youth of the country, and he expected that youth should work for the upliftment of the people. He said that we have a good tradition of sannyasis who roam throughout the country, but now we need such sannyasis who go to the villages and educate the people, educate the masses. We need people who go. Actually, he mentioned that we need sannyasis who go to people with the globes, teach the small kids geography, maths, and uplift them. Because education, if we are not able to educate the masses, we will be able to uplift the country. So I am very happy that IGNOU is doing the same thing, going out, reaching out to the uneducated, reaching out to the peasants, the farmers, and helping them educate themselves. So this is the mission of Swami Vivekananda, which IGNOU is actually working on. And I am very happy to be called on this platform. The same theme, on the same line, Swami Vivekananda said that a nation cannot progress if the women of the country do not progress. He said that India, the downward trend of India started with the downgradation of women only. A bird cannot fly with its one wing injured. So we have to work towards the emancipation of women. But at the same time, he mentioned that women will chart out their own course. Men do not need to dictate to the women how to work ahead. So if we read through the life of Vivekananda, we understand that he went to Europe. Bhagini Nivedita, sister Nivedita, came with him, and she established women's schools in Kolkata. So that was the idea of women emancipation on which he worked. He said that the Sita, Savitri, Damayanti, these are the ideals of Indian motherhood. These should be the ideals before Indian women. We should not copy foreign ideas, foreign ideals, because the foreign outlook, foreign perspective towards looking towards women is of is not correct. It's of his, we can say consumerism, उपभोग का दृष्टिकोण है. So that was not correct. The purity, just chastity of women, we have to make her independent. That is the way to go. But at the same time, the Hindu concept is that the motherhood is the highest form of femininity. Should respect, and that all should look at women with this perspective. At the same time, the Swami Vivekananda mentioned three things to make a nation great: the conviction in the power of goodness, the ability to work together, and the ability to work without jealousy. So he said that for a nation and for a person, we should learn working together. The same thing Siddharth mentioned. I'm very happy that Siddharth mentioned these same things. I was very shocked to see and he said very vehemently that Kerala is looking like a Pagal Khana, is a madhouse to me, because he was very saddened to see the situation there. So he wanted to see the people of India united. He talked about organization, the coordination of wills, and accumulation of ideas. India as a country can march ahead only if her people are united. So that is the main crux of Swamiji's ideas, Swamiji's concept of nation building. We have to build our country on our own ideas. We can learn a lot many things from the foreign people, that is always welcome. But many things are in our own scriptures, in our own texts. If we look back, we will get much inspiration. And on those grounds, we have to build our nation. So 120 years after his death, Swami Vivekananda's thoughts are relevant even today. He lived only 39 years. He died young. But his words, his thoughts are inspiration for us even today. So I'll just appeal to all to go through Swami Vivekananda's works, to read his small quotations. These quotations are very inspirational for us. And if we read them at a personal level also, they will motivate us and they will definitely guide us towards a brighter future. So I thank IGNOU sir for giving me an opportunity to address the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Kshitij, for a very lively talk on Swami Vivekananda and Indian youth and nation building. And your commitment and your dedicated life in the involving with the youth of the country is reflected in your talk. And what you said, the Subhash Chandra Bose said about Swami Vivekananda as the spiritual father of Indian freedom movement, that was really very true and very appealing to all of us. And his views of women is also really excellent, and they're very valuable and very inspiring for today's youth. And all these ideas, they're truly contributing for the nation building. So thank you very much for a very lively talk. So with this, we have completed all our speakers. So now let me conclude by proposing a formal vote of thanks. So at the end, I wish all the listeners, viewers of this program, not only live, this video will be placed into the IGNOU Nagpur's regional centers, Facebook, and also on YouTube. One can watch it afterwards also, because these are very live examples of 4 youngsters who dedicated themselves into their chosen fields and who achieved certain mark in their own fields. So I thank Jayalakshmi, of course, she is our own student, for sparing her valuable time and inspiring, telling that sports should be not even as a career, at a daily routine you include it, that will teach you a systematic life. I like it. And then I thank Mr. Nikhil Vadnam, IRS, for giving very inspiring speech to the youngsters. Why to choose civil service? He said that the political bosses nowadays, they are also very intelligent. So the civil servant should be more intelligent than them. So that also I liked it. So of course, it is a continuous efforts. We have to lifelong efforts. We have to keep on making, and that is what he insisted. Thank you, Nikhil, and I thank Siddharth Roy for his word. I liked that keyboard warrior. It is I liked it, and thank you for touching 4 different aspects for youth in society. Thank you very much, Siddharth. And I thank Kshitiz Gupta ji, and his dedicated lifestyle is reflected in his presentation, which is very inspiring. And he shared the ideas of Swami Vivekananda on women, education, and all these activities. And very much thankful to you, Kshitij ji. And I thank all the 4 speakers for sparing their time and sharing their ideas, sharing their own personal experiences. Really enlightening and enthralling speeches we had. I also thank Mr. Sagar Gavane and also my colleagues, Shashi Kumar, Venkateshwarlu, Chandrasekhar Rajguru, and Rajesh Vasnik, and for all their help in making this program success. Even though due to some technical glitch, we could not give it live. This program will be uploaded into the IGNOU RC Nagpur website and YouTube channel and Facebook Live, Facebook also. One can watch it and give your comments. Thank you very much. So I close this program just now. Thank you very much.